Okay, how about the others? All right, Hubert, Michelle, similar. Okay, similar with that of Shane. Okay, good. Okay. So let's improve on that one. Okay, so since we are going to rewrite the following sentences, we still copy the stem. Okay, so we say, are there numbers? But this time, just like what you have used, Shane, Hubert, and uh, the other one, Michelle, okay, we are going to assign now a variable. Okay, so in your example, you use x and y, correct? So you can say, are there numbers x and y? Okay, so in that case, you are now assigning the variables, right? So are there numbers x and y uh, such that you can use the word such that instead of with the property the sum of their squares. So you say now x squared plus y squared equals the square of their sum, okay, which is equal now to the square of x plus y quantity squared. Yan. Okay. So, magiging ganito na siya. Right? Okay. Are there numbers? Okay, in this case, I did not use x and y. Okay, but in your case, you use x and y. I just simply use a, b. Okay, so take note, we can use any variable, right? So a and b with the property that a squared plus b squared is equal to the square of their sum. Okay, on the other hand here, it's instead of the use of with the property, we use the term such that. Okay, and then the same. All right. How about number 2? Kindly do number 2. Okay, then type in your answer. All right. Okay, so let's evaluate your answers here. So given any real number, its square is non-negative, right? So in that case, how are we going to write that into a mathematical expression? Okay. Yeah, into a mathematical sentence which is more formal. Okay. So, same, we just copy this 10, given any real number, but this time, remember, we don't know that real number, so anong gagamitin natin? We use a variable. Okay, real number R. Remember, that's one of the use of the variable. If you don't know the variable, if you are not sure with the variable, okay, then if we don't know the value and we are not sure with the value, okay, we can use a variable to represent that. So we say, given any real number, what is that real number? Assign a variable R. Okay. Its square is non-negative. Then we say R squared is non-negative. Or in symbol form, when can we say that it is non-negative? It is greater than or equal to 0. That's why we have it here. R squared is greater than or equal to 0. Because the moment that it is greater than or equal to 0, then it is non-negative. Right? Okay. So, yan ang gamit ng mga variables. Okay. So, in the mathematical language, there are 4 basic concepts actually. The one of which is the set theory. And we are already finished with that. Intentionally, I started with that, okay, because it will be easier for you to understand the set of numbers, okay. So set theory, okay, that is one of the basic concepts in the mathematical language. The other one is the discussion on functions and relations, which is actually in your module already, okay. And then it says there 4 basic because we have sets, functions, relations, and then binary operations. So when we say binary operation, okay, what do you mean by that? A binary operation on set G is a function that assigns each ordered pair of element of G. Okay, so these are some of the basic operations. Okay, some of the properties. When we say closure property, when we perform an operation between A and B, as you can see there, A, then you have the star symbol, B, that means any operation, okay, it will now result to a C. Again, that is a number that we don't know. That's why we assign variables. Right? The result will be an element of G. And all of these, A, B, C, are elements of G. What does it mean? It only means that, for example, 4 plus 10 equals 14. 4 is a real number. 10 is another real number. When we add 4 and 10, then the result will be another real number. So ang tawag nila doon ay closure property. Because it cannot be that when you add 2 real numbers, you will come up with an imaginary number. Make sense? That's why it's close. Okay, let's relate that to some real life situations. It's just like, okay, a man and a human, when they reproduce, okay, it should be another human being. Correct? If it's a man, okay, and a woman, and they produce a plant, oh, that's not already closure property. Oh, that's different. Because the human beings, they belong to the set of human beings. Therefore, the result, when you combine those, when they reproduce, should be, okay, from the set of human beings. It should not be from another set. Same thing here. When two real numbers, okay, when we perform an operation between them, the result, whatever will be, should be another real number. Okay. And then we have the associative property. Okay. That if we have A, okay, we perform an operation with B and then perform another operation with C, it will be the same as, okay, A, let's say A uh, times the operation times B times C. Okay. So associative is just simply the grouping of the variables involved there. When we say identity, okay, identity, it means it is just, okay, the element or the number that won't change, okay, the other value. And this is applicable, of course, you will observe this in multiplication, that the identity property of all numbers in multiplication is 1, right? So 4 times 1 is 4. Negative 1 half times 1 is still negative 1 half. So whatever no whatever number is that, if you multiply that with 1, the result will still be the same number. That's why it says there A star E is equal to E star A. Okay. And of course, we have the inverse property. Okay. For each A is an element of G, there is an element A raised to negative 1, meaning to say that is the inverse of G, such that A, okay, you perform an operation with its inverse, okay, will be equal now to its identity property, which is 1. So, anong sample natin dyan? Okay, so for example, 5. 5 is A. So, what is A raised to negative 1? That would be 5 raised to negative 1, or that is 1/5. 5 times 1/5 will be equal to 1, which is the identity property. Okay, so all these properties, of course, okay, you will observe in the set of real numbers. Okay, so let's go on to the meat of our discussion for today. It's about relations and functions. Okay, let's consider this situation. In many naturally occurring phenomena, two variables may be linked by some type of relationship. Pagdating sa relationship, nakaka-relate kayo dito. For instance, an archaeologist finds the bones of a woman at an excavation site. One of the bones is a femur, from your biology. The femur is the large bone in the thigh attached to the knee and hip. The table below shows a correspondence between the length of a woman's femur and her height. So on the first column, you have there the length of a femur in centimeters, and on the second column, you have there the height, okay, in inches, represented by the variable y. So when the length of the femur is 45.5, the height is 65.5. When the femur's length is 48.2, the height is 68, and so on. So that is 41.8, 62.2, 46 is 66, 50.4 is 70. What is the relationship between the length of the woman's femur and her height? Okay. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Kindly type your answer in the chat box. Oh, this is in connection with our previous discussion, di ba? All about patterns. Can you see a certain pattern there? Yes? Okay, so which one is longer? Is it the femur or the height? So obviously it's the height. By how long? The length of the femur is 1/4 the height of the human. Oh, all right. Could be possible. Shanli, try now to make use of the variable. Change your state, the same statement, but in your statement, use the variables instead. So you say the length of the femur. What is the variable for the length of the femur? It's x, di ba? So you say x is equal to, how do you represent 1/4 of the height? What's the variable for the height? It's y, di ba? Let's use now a mathematical language. Convert that one into an equation. So you say, oh, everyone, let's help Shanli convert this statement he provided. Let's convert it into a mathematical sentence, a concise one. So the length of the femur, what's the variable for that? It's x, right? And Shanli said is 1/4 the height of the woman. So x is equal to 1/4 times y, correct? If that is the correct statement, Shanli, okay, we are just converting your sentence provided into a mathematical sentence. Okay? So, sige, balikan natin yun mamaya. If you are going to look at now the values provided there, okay, so from the values provided here, we can now form what we call an ordered pair. Okay, this one here. Okay, such that the value 45.5 has a pair of 65.5. The value 48.2 has a pair of 68, and so on and so forth. In other words, the 45.5, okay, cannot have two equivalent values. This one cannot be 60, for example. It's only 65.5. Okay, so if you are going to write the values like this, then we say now that okay, there exists a relationship between X and Y. So this relationship is now what we call a relation. Just simply a relation. Okay. So that's the relation of X and Y. In a relation, there will be a set of ordered pairs. Okay. Meaning to say that there is a set of X's and there is a set of Y's. Okay. The first component in the ordered pairs is called the domain of the relation. And then the second components in the ordered pairs is called the range of the relation. So, balik tayo dito. Okay. So, this one, okay, again, some mathematical terms that we only use in math. So, this is now your domain. Okay. The first values or your x's, values for x. And then, this is, of course, your range. This is your domain. This is your range. Right? Okay. So, some examples of finding the domain and range of a given relation, okay, from our example a while ago, okay, if we have now here, okay, an ordered pairs, okay, then the first one, the x values here will be your domain, right? So ito yung x, and yung y, x, y, x, and y. So the first values your domain, then the second values your range. Okay. All right. Okay, let's try this. Everyone, kindly participate. Kindly find the domain and range of the relation. This one here. Okay. Kindly type in the box domain, and then you list now the domain, and then the range, you list the range. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Good. So we have the answer of Hubert and Michelle, and then Jedrick. Okay, let's check first the domain. For the domain, okay. Okay. So you listed here 0, -8, 1/2, -3, and -8. Okay. When we are going to list the domain, it's the same with the concept of sets. Remember? So this is an example of a set. Okay? Kainuna ko yung discussion ng set eh. So you are listing the elements of the set domain. Okay, and remember our discussion of the set. All the elements there should be unique. Meaning to say, in this case, you do not write -8 twice. You only write it once. Yes. So your domain will be what? 0, -8, 1/2, and -3. Okay? So it would be 0, -8, 1/2, -3. You're not going to write -8 twice. Okay? Because in your set of domain, okay, all the values there should be unique. And it also follows for your range. Ganon din. That's another set. Diba? What's the name of the set? It's the range. Okay. So all the values there should be unique also. So we have 0, 4, 1, and then we will not repeat 4 and 0. Okay. So that will be the domain and the range. Of course, in our first example here, okay, there are all unique. That's why we wrote it like this. Diba? Walang naulit. Okay? Walang naulit yan. But here in this example, may mga naulit kasi. So we only write the unique element once. Right. So in a relation, okay, we consider the set of ordered pairs, okay, and it may be defined in what we call the correspondence. Okay, so just like this, okay, for example, 1 is paired with 2 and it is also paired with -4. Oh, parang yung nakita natin kanina, for example, the -8 is paired with 4 and the -8 is also paired with 0. So parang ganito siya. 1 is paired with 2 and 1 is also paired with -4. So okay lang yon in a relation. Okay? So this is your domain and this is your range. Take note, when we write the ordered pair, as you can see, we have 1 and 2 paired with 2, 1 and -4. And then 3 to -4, and then 3, 4. So as you can see, just like this one, the 4, we only write it once. Okay, but as you can see here, it is paired twice, paired with -3 and 3. Same manner, this one is only written once, but it is paired twice. Okay, we can also graph that. Okay, still remember your Cartesian plane? Okay, so we can graph it like this. So you have your 1 and 2. So you have your x here, and then your y here. Okay, so 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and -4, -3 and 4. So these are the different points in the Cartesian plane. We can also graph it. Okay, not only the points, but we can actually draw the actual graph of the given relation. Okay, so find the domain and range of the relations. Okay, so for letter A, you can see here, okay, the first column, okay, so just simply write the domain, 3 to -7, right? And then the range, there's only one range. In that case, it's -9. We will not write -9 3 times. Although we know that the ordered pairs from this will be 3, -9. Diba? Ganyan siya. The 3 ordered pairs will be 2, -9. And then -7, -9. Ganyan, right? That would be the set of ordered pairs. Okay? But if you are going to write the domain, then it will just be 3 to -7, and then the range will be -9. Right? Okay. Next, how about if there is now a graph in the Cartesian plane? Okay, so all you have to do for the domain, you just write your x values. Diba? Marunong na kayo, di ba? Paano mag-graph? Of course, naalala ninyo yan. Okay, so tingnan lang ninyo yung x values dito, correct? So we have -2, -1, we have 0, 1, 2. So ito. That's your set of domain. And then how about the range? The range will be your y values, correct? Oh, so ano yung y values natin? So this one, -3. There are 2 points, but we will only list it once. So -3, and then 0. 2 points again, but we will only list it once. And then 1. Dito sa taas, 1. So this is now your range. Right? Okay. So, paano naman pag ganito? Okay, it's not just simply the points, but it's actually a graph provided. Okay, so again, we will use the concept of variable here. We cannot possibly list all, right? We could not possibly list all the values there because supposed to be, okay, let's say, remember your domain is the values of x here. Okay, this one here. Your x, this is your domain. Oh, how are we going to identify all the x values? Every point here, remember that graph there? Every point on this graph of the oval that you can see is a value corresponding to an x. Oh. So how many x values are there? Di ba ang dami-dami? We cannot count that. Okay? So all the points here. So instead of enumerating all the x values, we can now use the variable NL and specify the property. Ayun, papasok yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. Right? Use the variable and then state the property. So we say the domain is x such that x is a real number. That's the first property. Okay. And x, you start from the middle, is less than or equal to 8. So from here, and greater than or equal to -8. So meaning to say all the x values from here until here. Okay. Make sense? Okay. So lahat ng values mula dito sa -8 hanggang +8. Okay, that will be our domain. So what are those values? For example, we can have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And all the values also between 7 and 8. So it could be 7.5, 7.135, 7.11, 7.102, 7.0006. Kasali lahat yun. Because as we have said here, the x, okay, is a real number, and the x, okay, includes all values between 8 and -8. Okay? How about the range? Ganon din. we cannot enumerate all the values here in your y. Halimbawa dyan, 5 and let's say this one is 4. Oh, what are the values between 5 and 4? Ang dami-dami niyan. Okay? So you can have 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. How about 4.11, 4.12, 4.13? How about 4.01, 0.02? How about 4.001, 0002, and so on? So we just described now the range. So as you can see, the range, okay, starts from -5 until 5. So we described that. The range, remember the set builder notation? Okay. Say the range is the set of all y's such that y is a real number, and y, when you read this one, you start from the middle. Okay, so you start from here first, second, and then third. Okay, para di kayo malito. Start from the middle, you read the symbol and then this. So that's why this is your second. And then you read the symbol and then this. But since you started from the middle, you do not read the symbol here. Instead, you read the opposite of that. Diba? So for example, -5, and then you have the less than symbol and y. So when you read this, you say -5 is less than y. That is correct. Because you started from the left going to the right. Tama? Ulitin natin. -5 is less than y. Okay. What if you start now from the right going left? So how should we read this? Do we still say y is less than -5? Hindi na, di ba? Iba na ang ibig sabihin. Because remember, -5 is less than y. Or let me use numbers to illustrate this better. -5 is less than 2. Gamitin natin yan. Okay? -5 is less than 2. What if we read now from the right to the left? -5 and then 2. So sabihin natin, 2 is less than -5. Mali na, di ba? So the proper way to read it from right to left is to read the opposite of this. 2 is greater than -5. Yeah? Okay. So repeat, from left to right, -5, read the symbol, is less than 2. From right to left, start from the right, 2, you read the opposite of the symbol, and then the number. So 2 is greater than -5. So going back here, since we start from the middle, we read this one as y is less than or equal to 5. Tama, because we are reading from left to right. Correct? So y is less than or equal to 5. But from there, we are going to read now from right to left. So we will read the opposite of this. So y is less than or equal to 5, and y is greater than or equal to -5. Okay? Y is less than or equal to 5, and y is greater than or equal to -5. Okay? All right. So, what makes now a function different from that of a relation? So if you are going to look at these examples here, okay, a function is just like a relation. It's just simply a set of ordered pairs. However, there is an additional condition. There corresponds exactly one element y in the range. Okay, so meaning to say, a domain can have only one range. Okay, so looking at this example, which of the relations define y as a function of x? So you have x and y, 1 is to 4, 2 is to -1, 3 is to 2. In letter A, can you type your answer? Is it a function? Is it a function or not? Just type function if it is a function and not a function if it's not. Function. Okay, yes. Carl and Hubert said it's a function. Okay, yes, this one is a function. Okay, because there is exactly one element y in the range for every x value. How about letter B? Is it a function or not a function? Okay. So Carl said it's not a function. Okay, why? For ranges in 3 domain. Okay. Or, take note, ang sabi nga dito, for every element x, okay, there's only one y in the range. So when we are going to write this in ordered pair, you will come up with 1, 3, 1, 4. Ayan. 2, -1, tapos 3, -2. That this will be the set of ordered pairs for this one. So as you can see, we have two values for the for ones. Diba? Highlight that. This one is 1. This one is also 1. Diba? So in this case, this is just simply a relation. Okay. So a relation is just a set of ordered pairs, but it's not a function. Kasi nga, kapag function, dapat for every x value, sorry, for every x value, okay, there is a corresponding y value. And that x value cannot have two different y values. Okay. How about letter C? Is it a function or not a function? Function. Hubert said function. All right. Very good. Okay. So again, if you are not sure whether it's a function or relation, just write the ordered pairs. We have 1 and 4. Okay, we have 2, tapos 4, and then we have 3, and then 4. Okay, so this will be our ordered set of ordered pairs that represent this correspondence. And as you can see, you have each value of x has a corresponding value of y. So walang naulit na x. In that function, so it's a function, this is not a function. Okay. All right. Okay. The other way to check whether a given graph is a function or not is through what we call the vertical line test. Okay. So by its name, you just simply draw a vertical line. Okay. So if you have the graph of the relation, okay, you draw a vertical line. If a vertical line touches the graph only once for every point, then it's a function. Otherwise, it's a relation. Okay, so let's have an example here. We have the 3 points here. You draw a vertical line. It will only touch those 3 points once. However, as you can see in letter B, if you look at the ordered pairs, we have 1 and 3, 1 and 4. So looking at this, we can already tell that this is not a function, right? But if you are going to draw the points, you have here 1 and 3. The other one is 1 and 4. And as you can see, if we draw a vertical line, it will touch the 2 points. So it's not only once, it's twice. In that case, it's not a function. Okay, let's move on. You will be encountering this in your other math subjects and in our future discussion, the proper function notation. Okay, so you always see f of x. Okay, so when we say f of x, it means the value of the function f at x. Okay, so a function may be evaluated at different values of x. Okay, from this statement here. Okay, in other words, if we say f of x is equal to 2x, let's use this as an example. It means this function, okay, can be solved at the different values of x. So if you want to use 5 for the value of x, then we say it's f of 5. Yeah? F of 5 meaning to say the value of x that we are using is 5. So we say f of 5 is equal now to 2 times 5. In that case, it becomes 10. If you are interested with the value of this, when f is, let's say, negative 3, then we say f of